Imagine a world where people are bought and sold like objects. They are forced to work without pay. They are trapped, with no hope of escape. This was the brutal reality of historical slavery. We often picture chains and ships when we think of this dark past. We see images of men, women, and children suffering on plantations. But what if those chains were invisible? What if the ships were replaced with airplanes and trucks? This is the unsettling truth of modern slavery. It hides in plain sight, often disguised as something else. The victims are hidden in factories, forced to work in terrible conditions. They are trapped in homes, abused and controlled. Modern slavery is a global problem affecting millions. It's a crime that robs people of their dignity and freedom. We must open our eyes to this hidden horror. We must break the invisible chains of modern slavery. For centuries, slavery was a brutal fact of life. People were seen as property, bought and sold like cattle. This cruel system thrived on exploitation. One common form was debt bondage. People would become enslaved to work off a debt. Often this debt was impossible to repay, trapping them and their future generations. War often fueled slavery. Captured enemies were forced into labor or sold to the highest bidder. Children were particularly vulnerable. They were ripped from their families and forced to work in fields or mines. Women and girls faced horrific abuse. They were often seen as sexual commodities, bought and sold against their will. The history of slavery is a painful reminder of humanity's capacity for cruelty. Today, we like to think of slavery as a relic of the past. We tell ourselves that it's a barbaric practice that has been abolished. The truth, however, is far more disturbing. The reality is that more people are enslaved today than at any other point in human history. The statistics are staggering. The International Labor Organization estimates that over 50 million people are trapped in some form of modern slavery. This number includes millions of children forced to work in dangerous conditions. It includes women and girls trafficked into sexual exploitation. It includes men forced into labor on farms and fishing boats. This is not a problem confined to one corner of the world. Modern slavery exists in every country, rich and poor alike. Slavery has not disappeared, it has simply evolved. It has adapted to the changing world, taking on new and even more insidious forms. While historical slavery was overt and brutal, modern slavery often operates in the shadows. In the past, owning slaves was a display of wealth and power. Today, it's about cheap labor and hidden profits. The globalized economy has created new opportunities for exploitation. Complex supply chains obscure the origins of goods. This makes it easy for businesses to turn a blind eye to the plight of workers. Technology has also played a role in this shift. The internet has become a tool for traffickers, used to recruit victims and control their every move. The nature of slavery may have changed, but the core elements remain the same: control, exploitation, and the denial of basic human rights. Modern slavery takes on many forms, each more insidious than the last. One prevalent form is forced labor. Men, women, and children are forced to work against their will, often in dangerous and inhumane conditions. They may be trapped in factories, farms, or mines, toiling long hours for little or no pay. Child labor, a particularly abhorrent form of exploitation, robs children of their education and their childhoods. Debt bondage, a practice that entraps generations in a cycle of servitude, continues to plague many parts of the world. Forced marriage, where individuals are coerced into marriage without their consent, is another grim reality for millions. Human trafficking, a global crime that preys on the vulnerable, involves the recruitment, transportation, and exploitation of people for profit. The internet has given rise to new forms of exploitation, such as digital slavery, where individuals are forced to work online, often in content moderation or click farms. Even within the walls of prisons, forced labor persists, blurring the lines between punishment and exploitation. While physical coercion is a hallmark of slavery, the chains that bind victims can also be psychological and political. Psychological manipulation is often used to control victims. Traffickers and exploiters prey on vulnerabilities using threats, intimidation, and false promises to maintain control. Victims may be brainwashed into believing they have nowhere else to turn, trapped by fear and isolation. Political systems can also create conditions that enable modern slavery. Corruption, weak rule of law, and a lack of protection for vulnerable populations allow exploiters to operate with impunity. Discrimination based on race, ethnicity, gender, or caste can make certain groups more susceptible to exploitation. The denial of basic rights such as freedom of movement or access to education can trap individuals in a cycle of poverty and vulnerability, making them easy targets for modern slavers. In our modern world, it's easy to believe that slavery is a distant problem. We may feel outraged by stories of exploitation in far-off lands, but we rarely stop to question our own complicity. The truth is that modern slavery is woven into the fabric of our daily lives. The clothes we wear, the food we eat, the electronics we use, all of these products may have been produced by exploited workers. Do we know where the products we buy come from? Have we considered the human cost of our insatiable appetite for cheap goods? We must challenge ourselves to become more conscious consumers. We must demand transparency in supply chains and hold businesses accountable for ethical sourcing practices. Our choices have the power to perpetuate or disrupt the systems that enable modern slavery. Slavery is not just a historical atrocity. It is a present-day reality that continues to cast a long shadow over humanity. Its legacy is etched in the lives of millions who are denied their basic human rights. It is a stain on our collective conscience, a stark reminder of the work that still needs to be done. But there is hope. By shining a light on this hidden crime, we can begin to dismantle the systems that allow it to thrive. By raising awareness, supporting anti-slavery organizations, and advocating for stronger laws, we can all play a part in breaking the chains of modern slavery. The fight for freedom continues, and it is a fight we must win.